start denying peer-reviewed science, even though peer-reviewed papers you can pull up, and I've gone through that multiple times, where it's like, oh, peer review says there is no scientific method being conducted on the peer review process itself, and that's a problem. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, they admit that in peer-reviewed papers. So it's a peer-reviewed paper about peer-reviewed papers where they're saying peer review is basically faith-based, and we don't apply the scientific method to the peer review process itself. So they don't apply a scientific method to the scientific method. In other words, what ends up in part of established dogma, people's perception is that, oh, this is peer-reviewed, so, like, it's got to be true, because it wouldn't be able to stand, because there's all these people checking it out. You know, anybody in the world could check it out, and they could duplicate the experiments. I hear this time and time again. So you could do the experiments, you could check it out yourself, and like, if you were to find it wrong, you could tell them, and they would have to change it. It's like, are you insane? Are you totally insane? But okay, that's what you believe, okay? You believe that that's peer review and that's how it works. Do you have any evidence for that, sir? Any evidence, anything, other than your belief, then that's how peer review works. Because I got peer review papers that say that ain't the way it works. You got anything but your belief? No, you just have the belief. You believe that. You don't know that. You don't have any evidence for that. So when you talk to me about your bullcrap about evolution theory is true and the majority of science believes it, that doesn't even mean anything. It's like the editor of the Lancet said half of all peer-reviewed papers is false. So which half are you referring to? You got a you got a bunch of peer-reviewed papers, and you want to quote them and prove to me evolution theory? It's like, okay, did you vet these? How did you vet those? How do you know which ones are properly peer-reviewed and what? You don't know nothing about it. You don't know anything. That's what just drives me nuts. It's like, okay, there's no evidentiary basis for your belief system, but you believe that that's how peer review works, and you believe you really got you something if you got a peer-reviewed paper. And am I saying that all peer-reviewed studies are false? No, I don't believe that. It's like, okay, so you create a false dichotomy where it's like, oh, you reject science, so you shouldn't be talking on a microphone, you shouldn't be using a computer, you shouldn't be using elastic waistband pants, because science gave you all those things, and now you bite the hand that feeds you and deny science, and you're a hypocrite. It's like, man, that's the most idiotic non-argument ever. And then you can make the argument that, I could point to a lot of things that Scientology does is good. And they have buffets, and they put on for the elderly, and they feed people, and they fight the evils of Big Pharma. And Scientology, man, I mean, they have decent prices at their gift shop. They don't rip people off. I heard L. Ron Hubbard was a pretty nice guy most of the time, except when you crossed him. He did dress like a captain of a ship and sail ships around, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, believe in Scientology, because everything Scientology puts out is right. It's like, what are you, nuts? So you could point some benefits of a certain given organization. Let's say Scientology or Mormonism or whatever. Oh, charitable works and this and that. So yeah, good beneficial things come out of Freemasonry or whatever. Mormonism, whatever. You could point out good, beneficial, do-gooder stuff. John Gotti passed out Christmas turkeys. I bring that up. On Thanksgiving, every year, good man, good turkey, good. Good. And, is the mafia good? I mean, is the mafia... No, a better question would be, so is everything the mafia stand for and everything is validated by, you can point to benefits of it, you know? So like, it's the same thing with Western established naturalistic materialistic centered philosophy of science being integrated into, science has been anything that involves science or the scientific method, science, engineering, sciences, or anything like that. And so it's like, it's an all or nothing, proposition. Either you take it all or you take none. It's like, are you freaking insane? Where do you get these ideas, people? Is that the way you apply that logic to everything? Because you're in trouble, dude. So you can go and look at the Mormons' blog where they got all this science laid out that establishes Mormonism. So, okay, here's a scientific body that's made up of Mormons making a scientific claim. So is their scientific claim valid until you can come along and falsify it and disprove it? It's like, no. Neither is the claims of establishment Western science as an organization, as a culture, as a group, as a religious body, because they certainly are a religious body in many respects. And they're a political organization in many respects. And every characteristic you can point to a cult or a religious group is present within modern established science. And why do I harp on that all the time? Is because that's where all these belief systems come from. Same with the nuke bomb. It's like, that's where all that come from. It's belief in science. And science is in quotes because when people say that, they're not even talking about the scientific method. And if you doubt me, look at the way the word is used in a sentence. It's not used. I was trying to explain that before. It's like, what did I use an example? I maybe come up with a better one, but for now, I just come up with examples like, operating a motor vehicle is true.